Hey there, welcome to this video. First things first, we will build a URL shortener in this video. What this is basically doing, a very common use case, for instance, is you do have an Amazon link, and the Amazon link is quite long. So it's like more than 280 characters, just the string. And if you want to share that, it doesn't look very nice. Sometimes you would like to hide the web reference where your link is redirecting to. This has different reasons. But yes, a URL shortener is basically just shorten the link, and you will have a much shorter URL at the end. And we will see how that works in Django. And the other thing I would like to say now is this is a live recording from my Twitch stream with just 0 visitors, which isn't bad for me since I need to learn that. But I would like to say, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch at different days and at different times. And since programming is very international, I try to match as many time zones as possible. So yeah, feel free to subscribe my Twitch and YouTube channel. This is just an uncut version of what I'm doing there. So you might see me Googling and you might see me failing during this video. But yeah, you can also check in the description a link. There's a redirection to a Google sheet I created, and you can make recommendations of what you would like to see and yeah, say at which time zone you're living, and I try to add additional times to my stream where I'm streaming. But well, this is far too long for this topic. First, this is an empty PyCharm program, and I know if you work with Django, you can create a Django project directly from PyCharm. What I was doing now is I was creating a directory at my desktop, and I was just opening the directory inside of PyCharm. So the start might be a little bit different from what you expect of how working with Django. So instead of working directly with Django and PyCharm, I need to set up the full process. Which isn't bad since this is kind of a PyCharm professional feature. If you use PyCharm free, for instance, it's always a little bit more tricky to work with Django there. I don't know if PyCharm free supports Django projects from beginning. I don't care. So pip install Django. I hope this is everything what we will need here. So Django should be the only reference which is required. And we will do maybe just one step first. I don't know how long I will continue to stream. Since, yeah, I don't know, my work starts in maybe half an hour. Something like this. Maybe 1 hour. I can decide on my own. But yes, Django is installed. So let's say Django -admin start project, and I like to call it config first. This has different reasons, so this is a kind of cheat from my side. You will see what I'm doing in a few seconds. And now I need to wait for the directory to be shown here. So now a config directory is shown, and there's a config directory inside and a manage.py directory. And what I do first is now I would like to rename this config here. So let's say refactor, and let's call that just app. Rename refactor. Perfect. And now, yeah. Mark directory as excluded. Refactor, rename to app. I don't want to search for different for references. Okay, cool. Now I'd like to go into project structure, and I like to add app to sources. And let me check. This is more a resource directory and not an excluded. I guess this would be correctly. Let's check if everything is working correctly. Cool, now the Python project is set up. So here's Python inside. The main file can be deleted. So let's delete it. We do have a directory URL shortener. So this is my directory. Inside of this directory is another directory which is called app, and this is our Django app. And yeah, cd app. I need to remember this while I'm working in the terminal. So I'm not working in directory URL shortener. I'm working in directory URL shortener / app. And what I would like to do now is basically create an app, Django admin, start app, and let's say shortener. And this is my app name basically. And I hate PyCharm for doing this. So now it's created here, and we do have different files there. And yeah, we won't write any test cases, so let's delete this just for the biggest motivation ever. And let's go to settings. Remove this. Yeah, here's a secret key, I don't care. Let's register the app, so it's shortener. We could reference it a little bit more like app dot shortener config. This should work. And let's create a model. And the model is just a shorten link. Or a link, I don't know. But this is all we need. So what I'd like to do is the link. And this is of course models.model. And the link as a models.url field. And you need to be a little bit careful because the URL field might be limited per default. So let's use a maximum length of maybe let's use 1000. And let's use a key, which is models.car field, and it does have a maximum length of, let's use 5. Paste this at the beginning. And this key is basically the shorten reference. So the key is basically your URL / ABCDEF, something like this. And this is what you reference in Facebook if you shorten your URL. I make this to a primary key. We do not need a value which counts up. And this is, like I said, this is all we need. Let's say def string. Return. What do I want it to return? Maybe an F string, which contains directly both self link, self key. So something I can understand if I take a look at it. And we need to override the save method. Super save. Okay. And what I'd like to do now is basically create another method. def set key. And here now we need to write a little auto generator for the key value. And for the easiness, I say import UUID. And now I'm saying just return UUID, UUID4, or not return directly. Let's just key equals UUID dot UUID4 dot hex, and let's say, hey, this should be limited to 5 characters, and maybe return key. And I'd like to reference it here inside the save method. So self let's rename it to generate key. It's not private. Self.key equals to generate key. It returns a string. Cool. So this is working quite smooth. So what I'm doing here, every time when I'm calling the save method, it will generate the key. And it doesn't matter if you pass a key value inside the model or not. It will always generate something. So we need to do the following. If not, self key, and we need to say this is not editable, so the user can't manipulate this value. This will be always generated via backend. So if the key value is empty, we will generate the key. If it's not empty, we will ignore this. This will be fine. The generate key method is here, and I don't know, there it might be static. Okay. Yeah, no, I leave it like it is. Last thing is, we need to ensure that these keys not taken already. And what I'd like to do here is basically let's do something very risky. So while self.objects, or maybe not self, I don't know if that is that clever. Let's use a class method. Class.objects.filter key equals key dot exists I'd like to repeat it, and this method is that shit works. Okay. This method is kind of risky for different reasons. So a while loop is always an enemy. Always remember this. If you see a while loop, try to not use it. Because if we have more than 100 billion of keys there, we will have a big problem with this, since our loops will run endless. So yeah, let's do a little bit of old Python programming style. You wouldn't need to use it like I'm doing it, but yeah, I'm like programming since Python 3.7, maybe a little bit earlier, but Python 3.7 is the first version I've really used to work with, like a professional manner. And yeah. You do have better options today, like I'm doing for counting it. So the count is now 1 up. Or count greater than 5, for instance. So if we need more than 5 triads, we will break here. What we could do now is basically we could check if the count is greater than 5, and if it's greater than 5 we could raise an error here. I won't do that since the error will be raised here. So if we exceed the error count of 5, we won't have been able to create a key which is not already taken. And if this is the case, we will try to create an instance with a primary key which does already exists, and Django will raise an error for this case, and this error will be raised here at the save method. So we do not really need to ensure that we raise an error here. We just need to ensure that we won't end in an endless loop here, and this is what I did, even if it's not a good programming style to use it like I did, since always raise the error where you are now, but I'm too lazy, so I just wanted to explain this instead. Okay, cool. So now the Shortener generator is written, so it's quite smooth. Let's go to admin. From .models import shorten link, and let's say add admin.register shorten link, and let's say class shorten link admin. It's admin.model admin. Cool. Now we are nearly done. Python manage.py make migrations. Python manage.py migrate. Here we are. Python manage.py create super user. This is cool. And now I'd like to start the project by maybe Python manage.py run server, but instead let's edit the configuration. And yeah, I could use the template here, or you can use the template here and choose Django, for instance. But if you have not PyCharm Professional, it's not possible, I guess. So this is a problem I had before. So let's do it here. Main.py does not exist anymore. Let's choose app manage.py and pass parameter run server. And this is all I need to do. And now we can debug. Yep, perfectly. The server is running now at localhost, so let's check this. 8000 admin. Cool, here we are. Here are the shorten links. And we can create a short link. So what kind of link do I want to create? Let's just copy a link. Just give me a second. I will do it outside of this screen session. So let's copy this. Let's paste this here. So it's quite a long link. It's some kind of Amazon link the link I've shown you at the very beginning. I can now click at save, and here we are. And now you see the full reference, which isn't that nice. So instead of, this is something what I could have expected before. But here's the key. So the full link is shortened to this key, not really now, but we will do it. I'd like to work here again. So instead of doing it, let's just return the key without explaining anything. Self.key. No, just wait. Reload. Perfect. Thank you. Now it's a little bit nicer here. Okay, so this is the reference. If I click here, I do see the link again. Cool. What I'd like to see here as well is a kind of parameter which I can just copy and paste. So let's add a value in our model and say def shorten link. And this is basically return let's say HTTP localhost / and just paste the key. And this is a property. Cool. And what this is basically doing first is nothing. So I have nothing changed. If I reload it here, it still looks the same. But if I say following admin and say, hey, I would like to see a read-only field, and this read-only field is shorten link, and I'd like to have it in my list, for instance, so list display, the string value and maybe the shorten link value, and this will change something. So here I'm working a little bit with the Django admin panel. So reload it, and now we do see the shorten link. So it's basically our base URL / the key. And if we go to shorten links, to the overview, we do see it here as well. And we should still be able to create another link. So let's just use this link from DigitalOcean. It's quite long as well. Paste it here, save it, and yeah, we do see now 2 links. Bam. The problem is, of course, we do have no description what these links should be like or something, so you can add as many fields as you want for make it good for you. This is good enough for the example now. So okay, we do have now the links shortened to our base URL and to a key, which is this one. So let's copy it and let's paste it here, for instance. And this won't work, and this does have a reason. Let me check what this is. Yeah, this is the good one. And let's make this work now. What we need to have here is a view, and we do not have any views, so Django doesn't have something to redirect currently. And this is where I would like to work at now. So let's stop the application. We could let it run, but I do not like it very much. So let's do a view. And what I would like to do is basically def redirect to URL. We do get a request here. And a link The link key is a string. I do not know the type of request. I will check that during debugging. You do not have to work with type hints. I try to do it for myself because I do like type hinting very much, since type hints are informations for me. So what do I want to pass here, and what type should that have? And sometimes the variable naming is not always as explicit as a variable naming plus a type hint would be like. Just saying, but you do not have to take care about it too much. So let's create a URL now. This should work. So from shortener dot import views as shortener views. This is also just a little bit lazy what I'm doing here, but well, path. And what I like to do now is basically pass the value link key, which should be just a string, so just a slug, and say path, and this should be shortener views dot redirect to URL. I haven't worked with function-based views for a long time, so I'm not sure if that will work. Let me check this out. Yeah, I don't care, return. Let's add a breakpoint here. Like, usually I'm not working with function-based views. I'm always working with class-based views, and usually I do not work in the common Django like this one. I'm mostly working in Django REST framework, so I forgot a lot about the classic Django way for doing something. Just let me check here. Yeah, this is not working. Cool. So this should work. But this is a live session either, so mistakes are good. Oh, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. Oh, sorry. And I would like to do a Django tutorial. This is nothing about class-based views or not. This is just a common knowledge. Usually I do have an as view at the very behind, but never thinking about it, and now it's missing, and I do have a problem to abstract it to this current situation. But this seems to work. Okay, let me check what happens if we redirect. Yeah, we will end in this breakpoint. This is good. This is everything I wanted to see. Okay, perfect. And here we can do different things. First of all, from dot models import shorten link. And what I'd like to do is now basically a get of for. So let's make a search request at Google. So Django get of for. Yep, it's a shortcut. Perfect. Product. Yeah, perfect. So let's say link is equal to, or this one is equal to get object of for, and I would like to pass a shorten link, and I would like to say key is equal to link key, and this will redirect to a for page if it won't find the key, and it will continue if it finds the key. So let's continue here. And what I'd like to do next is Django Redirect. Yeah, it's built-in method. I'd like to, is it basically here as well? Yeah, it is, and this is also a shortcut. So let's remove render. And let's say here, return redirect. And now let's say link dot URL. Is it URL? I don't know. Let's go to the definition quickly. Link dot link. Oh, bad naming. I need the naming police. Link dot link. But well, cool. And what this is doing now, if it's find the link object, it will redirect to the link property at the link object directly, and if it's not find it, it will redirect to a 404 page. So let's add a breakpoint here just for doing one thing. It's just my inner, for my inner freedom, for my inner peace. Let's copy this value again. This is the shorten link. Now we will end in the breakpoint, and I would like just to say, hey, I'd like to work with type-ins. Type request, and this is the type-in here from Django course. I don't know if it makes sense to do it like I do now. So it's a WSGI request, of course. Import. Don't care. Just for my inner freedom. It's completely unnecessary, to be honest. And it's not really the Django way, since we could have, instead of a WSGI request, we could have an ASGI request, and they are not the same, but it's easy to change it from WSGI to ASGI. And if you have hundreds over 1,000 views, you would need to change the type it here as well. But well, so let's call this URL, and we should be redirected now to DigitalOcean. Perfect. So this worked pretty well. Right now, if I copy this one here, paste it to my URL, Django will take a look at the database and will redirect directly to the page. And let's just add a key which does not exist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times the 1. And this will end in at a 404 page. This is the not found page. And of course you need to design this page, but I won't do it here. Now you can create any key anytime, and you will have a perfectly working shortener. Of course you could create a user front end, but this is just a different topic. If it's just for you in private manner, Django admin will be enough. If you want to create a user front end, it's just a one-pager. Nah, I won't do it yet. So I hope this was a good tutorial, 30 minutes for a cool little Django project. Link to Git will be in the description, and a link to my Twitch channel will be in the description. Like I said at the very beginning, I try to do a little bit more than just tutorials. So I would like to do code reviews live on Twitch as well. And if you have code you want to have reviewed, or if you want to help me with your code, and if I see there are some useful patterns or something, feel free to send them. And I will do that live on Twitch and will give you feedback, maybe some written feedback in your Git repository, or maybe just this video, what I would do in a different manner, how I would fix these bugs, something like this. So this is something what I would really like to do live on Twitch, but this is the URL Shortener video. And yeah, pretty the first or the second live video now from Twitch. The first one was loading CSV data, also in this session. Just a little warm-up. So take a look in the description, subscribe all of my channels, and if you want to be a part of the stream, even if you can't be there just in time, you can write some recommendations in YouTube comments or also into the formula of what I have created before, which is always also linked. I will ask you there for your time zone, just for finding the best time frame to stream from. I will use different time slots in general. So your time zone will be useful. At my local time, it's now 9 a.m. or up to 9 a.m. But well, and I will ask you 3 different questions, like what programming languages you are programming in. I'm mainly a Python programmer. I do have experience in Java and Scala, and I do have a tooling around Python, like using Docker, CI/CD, Kafka, something like this. But I would like to see if I will have ever an audience, what my audience is doing. Maybe for learning from you or for helping you. This will be my motivation, both of it. And the other 2 questions are, if you have any repository at GitHub you want to have reviewed or you want to help me with, you can reference it and I will make a video out of it and will review it for giving you some advices. And the next text field there is some project ideas. So if you want to see me programming a chat or an online game or whatever, you can write it down and I might pick that up at one day. So have a nice day. I will start my workday now. This is just my free time and hopefully see you next time.